My name is Cassandra, and I'm going to talk about um, the parallels between the party and the church that Erika Gottlieb sort of talks about in her essay about 1984. So Orwell draws comparisons between totalitarianism and religion to criticize both of them um, by kind of talking about aspects of the mentality that are in both. Um, and he especially parodies the alienation of those who hold opposing views or the them versus us attitude that both of them engage in. So, first of all, the demonic gives some people something to hate. It includes thought crime as a parallel to sin and Goldstein as the ultimate symbol of the demonic because he preaches things that threaten the party. So it's the opposite of what the party wants people to believe. But really, it's only there as something for people to turn against. Because really, the only reason that anyone even knows Goldstein exists is because the party tells them that he exists, just to give them something to hate. And Orwell tells us in one of the earliest chapters that Winston can never see the face of Goldstein without a painful mixture of emotions. So they're specifically conditioned to have an emotional reaction against the demonic, just like Christians are taught to hate the devil and sin and turn to the church for protection from what they've been taught to fear. So the members of the party can turn to Big Brother and everything that they've been taught by him as protection from what they should hate. And then the next thing is the sacred, which is centered around love for Big Brother, but also fear of his power and fear of going against what he teaches. So he is the divine figure, as basically an equivalent to God, but in a secular way, where there's nothing really distinctly mystical about it, but people can still sense the power. And he has an omnipresence that um, keeps the party members in check because they always feel watched and they know the level of power that he has because they experience all the time the way that Big Brother can change what's in the demonic. He changes the enemy of the war at will. He changes essentially reality. And because of doublethink, they all believe it, but also kind of know it's happening. The next parallel is the 2 minutes hate, which is a sort of secular worship that parallels religious ceremonies. Um, and its function basically directs hatred to what they are told to hate and creates a sense of unity through the combined overwhelming emotion that they feel when they're directing all this hate towards whatever they're told to hate, either Goldstein or the enemies in the war or any traitors, while also building trust in Big Brother because they see him as the savior and they're essentially praying to him to protect them from these things that they see as evil. Um, and essentially, this trust that they build allows the party to control them more, just like just like the church often controls its believers through trust, um, because the they're essentially the saviors. Even if it's God, it's the whole organization is what will save them from what they fear. Now, finally, you have the symbol of the always watching eye. The constant surveillance is a kind of secular extension of the omnipresence of God in religious terms. So it's a sort of real execution of God always watching you. I think that it contributes to the loss of individuality in the ideal believer under this system, because the perfect subject, both under religion and under totalitarianism, will hold themselves to the standards of the doctrine unquestioningly. So they don't even really need to be watched all the time if they're perfect because they watch themselves. Um, Gottlieb includes this quote, "The eye by which I see is the eye by which God sees me." And I think that really exemplifies how the party assumes total control over its members because you internalize that watching, in this case from the big brother, um, so that you feel like anything you see can also be seen by others. They instill they also instill the idea that you can free yourself from individuality, which comes with suffering and personal responsibilities, but really is humanity in itself, by fully giving yourself over to the party. Just like in religion, you can free yourself from suffering by giving yourself to God. So it can be a good thing in spirituality, but when used by a controlling power, you're really just giving yourself over to complete control under that um, entity. So basically, Orwell criticizes both mentalities by parodying what he sees as the most controlling aspects. And I think Gottlieb's analysis is super interesting and really strongly argued. It's a really There's a lot happening in this essay, but I especially liked the parallels between religion and the party. And I think it explains a lot about Orwell's approach to deconstructing totalitarianism in this novel.